Alright guys, take 3. I know it's been so soon, and once again, this is my very first recording, so I'm not exactly sure how it'll turn out. But just after today, another situation has risen its ugly head. So, with my epistemic reasoning, here I'm trying to figure out exactly what all has been and is happening currently with me as an Aspie. So, and yes, I'm pretty much in public, so there are cars driving by with stuff like this, and a hammer, and me giving this illustration I'm about to give, they'll be driving by like, what the crap is he doing? But anyhow, I'm me, I serve God, not man, so, anyhow, and bear with me on the camera rotation as well, but, Clessy, no. Yeah, that's my dog, Clessy. Okay. Doing an illustration right now. Okay. So, anyhow, once my mother and my sister and, people in the family, we have, been discussing different topics over time. My stepmother, even people outside my social circle, and if you will watch part 2 on the whole Aspies hating popcorn analogy, you can kind of correlate that was with what's going on right here. So, pretty much, to begin with, okay, my third illustration to integrate with the last, second scenario of Aspies hating popcorn, we also hate, or I personally hate, Wack-a-Mole. So, yes, so this is pretty much the absolute best illustration I can give for me personally as an Aspie, because when I was conversing with a man at Henniger Church of God who was so drawn to me at the time, and yes, it's amazing what God is doing in different places. I have a whole personal story on that. But what he has been conversing with me about is the Asperger's syndrome that he has seen in 2 different people that he is associated with across his life. And so he was kind of intrigued with me about what God is really doing in my life and how I'm learning to socialize with different people along with his word, pneumatology, epistemology, and hermeneutics and the like, integrated with sociology. So, yes, those are big words. You can Google them, whatever. So, anyways, this Wack-a-Mole scenario. So, suppose one of me and my family members begin discussing about something. Whether it be a popcorn bag discussion or not, even if I'm, quote, thinking different than the rest of society, like people from JSU that I went to school with in my former, who I went to school with that is currently studying psychology, so to speak, yet he will not point out these symptoms. I'm not going to mudsling on him any, but a few of you locals are aware of who I'm talking about. But for me personally, the people that have actually been with me and that have actually witnessed this fake story of mine, this is pretty much how the best way I can explain these scenarios. So, just for discussion, the Wack-a-Mole. Like I said, when we get into a discussion, and since I think differently than them already, especially with communication, because I have the intelligence, I just can't have the cognitive abilities to convey what I'm thinking, and so I get so frustrated that people are not thinking how I think. So, like me, previously I've drawn out the illustration that with my perfectionist ideology, I infer that I have picked up on it over time because of the way things have went out, even since age 5, age 6, age 4, my whole childhood background. So, yeah, pretty much, I guess I've developed it. I guess I have trained myself with it subconsciously so that every time when I get frustrated, I want the problem solved myself. So yeah, that's integrated with all the spiritual warfare. How we as human beings are not really fighting with each other. It's pretty much a pawn issue that's going on in the supernatural. I don't want to get into any of that for any of you skeptics who want to drag this thing out even further. So, and all of my information, the rest of the hermeneutics, the epistemology, y'all should already know epistemology is my personal favorite. But anyhow, so yeah, we don't want to broaden this into all of this. And furthermore, I personally don't care for trolls anyhow. So, once again, the comments are moderated. So, anyhow, so when I get into a discussion and I'm so frustrated with not reaching that logical conclusion and their understanding of what I'm trying to tell them, and it might be a popcorn scenario, it might not. But with me, my brain cannot get to theirs. So pretty much, Wack-a-Mole scenario. Every mole is different people I'm associated with. But however, there is this one huge big mole that that I have my attention set out on. Like, mainly with the people that I've lived with. I'm not going to name any names. I'm not going to blast anybody. Not going to degrade anybody. That's a personal thing that I'm learning not to air anyone's laundry. So anyways, when I'm living with her and probably this other woman, those are the main two red or silver moles that I am so determined to smash its head in a logical discussion and logical conclusion of empathy of what is going on concerning me, and how my whole medical background and everything that has been twisted over the course of history, all the misunderstandings, all of the jars full of water in part one that we have, that we only want to be concerned with ourselves, and we don't want to worry about any other else's jars that we need to empty, or more or less any of you wanting to empty our jars. Everybody's concerned with their own jars, yet integrated with a popcorn scenario with some folks. That's how it is. But part 3 of what I've come to learn is this Wack-a-Mole. Okay, so let me try to rotate the camera real quick. What's up in a discussion of mine, and I'm trying to let him empathize on my neurological processes and my psychological thinking. This hammer and me and everything that is integrating along with me is my communication issues. So with Bobby being concerned about his own jar with water that he is not trying to empty with me, I'm sitting here trying to empty his jar, I guess subconsciously trying to reach a mutual point of respect and empathy, so we can pretty much understand each other. But yet, once Bobby pops up with his discussion, I try to smash his head, not his head, like literally. This is pretty much a metaphor in case if you haven't inferred already. But his head would be, pretty much his brain. So this claw hammer or this mallet would pretty much, I guess, be my epistemic intelligence. Not exactly sure about that. But when the physiological force is exerted upon his brain, I feel like he will understand and he will not pop up of his hole back again. So he would be solved, yet there's all these other moles that are popping up in different holes. So even if I do smash Bobby on the head and I receive a ding ding point, okay, Bobby's not going to pop up again. so to speak, supposedly, if I successfully had this scenario. So, okay, Bobby might or might not be gone concerning any confusion and or strife or tension. So, oh God, y'all quit. Okay, so Bobby has popped up, and so he may, or like I said, he may or may not have been solved concerning my communication issues. So, okay, consider this scenario. Like, okay, he might have gone out of that hole. Now, this might be another hole. Okay, so out of this other hole, let's think of a name. Catherine. Okay, so Catherine pops up maybe in the family instead of it as a, quote, friend from high school or whatever it was. Kathy pops up with her ideologies. And so she may try to point her finger at me. She may try to even try to help me. Whatever the case is, this is a conversation. Keep in mind, this could be a popcorn conversation. It could not be. So Catherine pops up with her communication, her sociology, her psychology, and all of her wisdom, experiences, and knowledge concerning anything between us two. So she pops up with another hole, and so once I know that she is not thinking the way I'm thinking, and simultaneously I am subconsciously not trying to empathize her, and what actually makes me all the more worse is when somebody drops the discussion. Now, with me personally, it really depends on who is the one causing the tension to begin with. So that is pretty much a primary integrating factor in all of this strife and confusion that has been going on in my social circle, in my life, people I have came across, etc., etc., etc. So when these different people keep popping up out of their holes and I'm trying to whack them and they keep disappearing, and when I get the chance for this golden or silver or red or green or whatever color it is, this special mole, I exert all my attention on it. Then when they disappear and they drop the discussion, I most likely have gotten manic because that was my main root of the problem. They were inside my family. And so everything else is pretty much 10,000, 20,000 times worse simply because they are misunderstanding me. And y'all do realize that yes, that I might misunderstand different people, but yet at the same time, like I keep telling everybody, you got to think like a judge. Not necessarily integrated with religion or anything of that. There is actually a righteous judgment, but that's a whole separate hermeneutics and ecclesiological study about, quote, judging another person and open rebukes and all that kind of stuff. But anyhow, so the judicial system, legislative system, executive system, put your mind into the mind of a judge and not be positive, not be pessimistic, not be inclined to one scenario. Don't listen to everything I'm saying and completely disregard everyone else that has been involved with me. Listen to them too, to fully comprehend and connect all the puzzle pieces. Because when your mind is in neutral position, you're not going to be swayed to the plaintiff or to the defendant right off the bat when they walk into your court. Not necessarily that you are an empowered person or I am suing anybody or that. This is just my best illustration on how it's an epistemic study. It gets into abductive reasoning, inductive reasoning, and deductive reasoning. But yeah, you can Google all that later. But just for the collection of facts and the intelligence of placing those facts, so to speak, and knowledge in chronological order for a sense of understanding, and the intelligence you have, you can use all of that through experience with wisdom to know how to apply what all you have learned and what all you have gathered and understood from all this collection of facts and following them in correct order. So yeah, if you have a pencil or paper, you can jot this down anytime. Replay the video as many times as you need to. If you're so interested about it, ask me questions about my life. Message me on Facebook. Try to find who I am. I'll listen to you. I'll have an open ear. Everything else, but back to the judicial brain. Don't listen to everything I'm saying. Don't just listen to everything that is being propagated about me. Even by people like the kid at school that was in so many much grades younger than me, that just viewed it from an external perspective and say, okay, this guy is exhibiting all these type of behaviors. He must be this kind of guy. Never judge a book by its cover, guys. You got to get to actually know the person. When he even himself claims that he knows me, there's a difference between knowing about somebody and knowing who somebody is. I could integrate that with, quote, religion and spirituality and the like, but that's just a thought. Yes, it's my my celebrity crush, so I will use her, and I will be open and transparent about who I am. So, used to, and pretty much she was my only celebrity, my only favorite celebrity. I couldn't care about anybody else, but somehow, I don't know. Laugh at me, please, because I laugh sometimes even. But take, for example, Kirsten Dunst. Okay, so I might know she is a Lutheran, so to speak, because that's being propagated by the media. I might know she is 5'7". I might know what hair color she's wearing at a certain premiere. I might know she is a Taurus. I might know how she converses with people sits down during her interviews, which as a matter of fact, for my epistemic inference, she is informal. But this is just an example. You know about somebody from an external perspective, but you're not inside their social circle. More or less, you don't even live with them day to day. So it's like on my other video right here, concerning the Now You See Me movie, regarding the illusionist. The eye. It may not lie, but don't think for a moment that it can be lied to. Seeing is believing, but yet looks can be deceiving. So before you automatically say, this person is this way, like at a first impression, might need to think again. Because it's all, and another channel on here that I have come to kind of been drawn towards is this Alpha M dude that has his own channel. Andrew Marino, I think his name is. Anyways, yes, I'm advertising, quote, for him too, because he has personally helped me just with sociological experiences. And as a matter of fact, it is really laid out a lot on me personally being an Aspie. So, yeah, it all integrates with each other. But, however, my absolute best advice for a Homo sapiens cherubim, a human being, you right there on YouTube, if you want to know more about us, about you, about the rest of humanity, absolute best book my dad has ever given me, by Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. This dude, to my best knowledge, was not even a scientist himself, but has the absolute best work of sociology any person could ever read. So, if I've missed anything, if you have any thoughts, any inputs, feedback, comments, yes, you can be positive, but be more realistic. Don't come across as condescending. Nobody likes a jerk. So, trying to be acceptant here, being open. Let's make an open discussion, guys. Open forum, y'all. Check it out. Peace.